There are adjustments of variables in the game that we can make, such as whether or not we want to play solo or as a team with other students in our class. To do this, we simply hit Enter. By selecting Enter, we can adjust variables in the game. You can see that we have all players selected, players in the area, and we can move through these by touching the Tab key. And we have General, different greetings, exclamations, expression symbols, mission specific, and teaming. By selecting teaming, you can see that you can ask other players to play along and be your teammates. So the variables in the game can be switched from solo to team play by simply selecting Return. And you can see that the chat box opens up and lets you communicate with other players in the game. One of the areas in Rice's scale asks to make sure whether or not the game has created new tools, understanding, or uses complex jargon. One of the ways that the game uses complex jargon is through the use of the engineers and non-player characters. They explain terms and concepts in detail for better understanding. Ted, who we can talk about, says, what are some of these communication devices? Well, they're monitoring your health using physio sensors and physio modeling. And then you can get a more detailed description of what each is. So if you want to know what a physio sensor is, the use of these non-player characters or engineers in the game explain this jargon for the players and the students so that they have a better understanding of the concepts we want them to learn. The next area of Rice's model requires the gathering of information or requires synthesis of knowledge in order to complete or successfully engage elements in the game. Here you can see that the interaction with objects and the non-player characters increases knowledge for players to seek information through interaction. They continue to learn more and more about the missions and about the different areas within the game. Here we're talking to another non-player character, and we can ask some questions such as, who are you? And it tells you that he is Derek Giles and that one of the finest projects is very energy efficient. So he is going to spend some time telling us about this planetary problem that we're encountering in the ecosystem here on Helios. And he's going to talk about some of the effects and how they can be very catastrophic. He's also going to help us through our training so that we can start our missions and do better at our missions as we move through the game. And he lets us know that we're going to team up with volunteers and do some dangerous field work. The more you know, the better you have chances of surviving. He advises us to take risks but be smart about it. He also talks about the mechanical engineering job. If we go back to interacting with our objects, we can see that there is a power strip here hooked up to an outlet, and it goes back to a simple question-answer. The last component in Rice's scale looks at whether or not the game offers replayability, with varying results. Well, going through the game the first time, the player may not know the correct answer, and while they can collect more than one answer and try their best, they can also come back into the game at a later time and achieve new or different results by bettering their scores and times to save the ecosystem more efficiently. Remember that students can also play in teams, so students can play again as a group to see if they prefer that over solo play. The last ability that this game has in terms of gameplay is being able to play the game again as a study guide or a study tool. By interacting again with our volunteers and our engineers throughout the game, we can find out more information, and this is a different area that we can use to explore course content in a less traditional way, but still use it as a study session to gain more information. Another reason that PWUP seems to really match what teachers are looking for in terms of an educational game is that it not only explores the course content for science teachers, but it also has a lot of encouragement and goal setting just in terms of who children are and who they want to develop into. And so there's a lot of advice in terms of careers and being headstrong and being goal-oriented, which can also help educators bring this type of game into the classroom with good results.